guys, welcome to our final project for AP Chemistry. We're making egg geodes. So the materials we need here are eggshells and glue to start, and we'll go over everything else later. Okay, so before we start this experiment, make sure you unpeel your eggs and put them in hot water and they're all dried up so they look like this. You want 2 of them, all right? First thing you do is coat the inside of the egg with glue. And make sure you put a generous amount. Alright, our next step is to use a brush, but we didn't have one, so we're going to use tissue paper. And just brush the inside of your egg very gently so you get that glue all around. And then make sure you have safety goggles for your next step too, and get 2 extra cups for your next step. And make sure you have your safety goggles for this step. So let's put them on. Here we have a bag of Epsom salt, or otherwise known as magnesium sulfate. We're gonna just scoop a little bit and put it on the crucible here. Alright, now that we have that, we have enough to sprinkle some on over our egg right here. Make sure you get a generous amount on each one. Perfect. And we can just put a little bit more on the second one, just so we have a good enough amount. Perfect. That's our step. Make sure you shake off the excess like we did off camera, and then after that let it dry so all the glue and the Epsom salt sit together.
So now we need to make a solution with the magnesium sulfate and some water. And so first what we're going to do is measure out about 10 grams of magnesium sulfate. And
for the next step of the lab, we have measured 10 grams over there of our alum powder. And to make a solution, we're also respecting more ratios and making 10 milliliters of water. And we're going to bring it to a boil, so we'll get back to you after I bring it to a boil.
okay, go.
So we want to calibrate our thermometer to make sure this is not a boil. So we're gonna first zero it out, and we're gonna put it on Celsius. Here we go. I'm gonna insert it and measure.
But we can explain what we did, like we told it reaction.
Oh no, I look so bad.
Just a little bit. And it doesn't exactly have to, it just needs to be above, I want to say 85, which is perfect. We're going to turn off this hot plate, and we're going to take out this beaker and put it in the sink to cool. Okay, this is hot. We want to move it into a bigger beaker so we can mix the alum powder. So we're going to take this beaker and pour. Put it right back here so it can cool down. And we're going to take our 10 grams of alum powder that we measured out and make sure that our safety goggles are still on right here. We're going to take the alum powder and gradually mix it in while mixing. We're going to want to keep doing that. And we can go a little faster here as we just keep pouring and mix. Pouring and mix. Pouring and mix. And as we keep mixing, we want it to just kind of become a solution here. Here we go. And here's the last one. And we'll let it rest. While the solution is still kind of hot, and as we see, there's still a little bit to be dissolved here, but that's not really a problem as we put in the food coloring. You can choose any color you want, darker the better, so it kind of glows a little better. We'll use green, and you don't want to put too much, around 3 to 5 drops right here. And we'll remove this. Let's see. That's perfect. And we just kind of want to let it set, maybe mix it a little bit. And that should be good right there. You can see that's a nice green color, so perfect. Alright, so the next step is you don't need safety glasses, but just if you're doing this at home or anywhere, make sure you get 2 cups that have enough space where you can pour the solution in and the egg. Something clear. like this, and as we're waiting for our eggs to harden, which they will, we'll go on to the next step. Make sure you have your safety glasses on, and as the solution is ready, you can see everything is dissolved and it's a nice green color. I'll put each egg crystal formation in each cup, so we have 2 ones. And you don't really need to measure this next part out. Just use the eye test and make sure it's covered.
Put it on the egg.
Yeah, on the egg right here. That's good.
Covered enough, all right.
And this one right over here. Perfect. Okay, so after this, we let it sit around a day to come back for the results. So we will do that as we set these to the side. As we're done with this lab, make sure you clean up all your beakers, all the stuff that you used here. We used a total of 3 beakers, something to stir and everything, so make sure your lab space is nice and clean. We'll come back for the results tomorrow, and thank you for listening. So chemistry concepts that are covered in this little easy demo that anyone can do is some sort of solution making, how to make solutions, solubility, and crystal formation, as we're demonstrating here, by forming crystals out of magnesium sulfate by just using the solution and glue. So those are some of the chemistry concepts we covered. Even it can relate to AP by talking about like crystal lattice somewhat in ionic structures and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what we covered. It's something simple that anyone can do, and yeah, let the egg geos rest after a couple days, and we can see our final product here. Although we don't get really big crystals, we still did a good job of looking at the crystal solution, and there's not a lot of excess liquid. So I would say this project is a success and a very simple one for AP chemistry students. So thank you so much for listening to it, and yeah.